Well, it is a pleasure to welcome in on video chat Matthew Barnaby from SiriusXM NHL Radio. He of 850-plus National Hockey League games. He's got the 1 day late for the Gretzky banner there. Show 99 2 days ago, as a matter of fact, it was. Good morning, Barney. How are you?
I'm good, buddy. How are you?
Very well, very well. We got a couple of NHL fans in the bunker here as we get ready for the Heritage Classic. And if you don't mind, can we start there and your thoughts on this Flames-Jets matchup Saturday and what you're looking forward to?
Well, I've been to many outdoor games. I've never been to a Heritage Classic, and I know how important it is just to the region that hosts it, but also to the players and organizations that are going to play in it. So it's an exciting time for everyone. I'm excited to get on a plane tomorrow, get out there again, back to Regina. I think I told you this week. I'd never been to Saskatchewan before I was 45 years old. I'm now 46. This will be the 7th time this year getting out there. But it's going to be an exciting time for everyone involved. I'm excited. Everyone else is excited. Should be a great event.
Well, you might want to think about getting an apartment here or something because the people are taking to you, by the way. What did you think of Arcola the other night in the celebrity sports dinner with yourself and Andre Waugh?
You know what? I've known a lot of Western people and played with a lot of Western guys over the year, and it's the same thing that I can say about the guys that I know. And good friend Kelly Chase, obviously from Saskatchewan, just heart and soul people. And true, honest people, hardworking people. So to be able to go out there so many times and do different events, whether it's raising money for an arena like we did or a hall like we did, the Heart and Stroke, whether it's Alzheimer's, whatever event it may be, people just open their pocketbooks and try to raise money for great causes. So it's I certainly am getting my air miles, my Marriott points. But all good. I look forward to tomorrow.
Good. No, we're happy to have you back. And the funniest thing is we were driving past all those pump jacks, and Andre Waugh says, now I know why all the Saskatchewan players I played with chew snuff and wear cowboy boots. Right?
Yeah, Andre's a different bird, but we're probably complete polar opposites when we do those events. It works out really well. I still don't think he knows what they were pumping, so let's not let him in on it.
I agree. Absolutely agree. Barney, see, now I know that we could go for a couple hours here. I won't keep you for too long, but the Sens, you heard me mention in the sports break that they won last night at home. It was Military Appreciation Night there at Canadian Tire Center. I watched it. Do you go to those Sens games, by the way? And what is your take on Ottawa, since that's where you're living?
Hell no. It's 2 hours to get in, 2 hours to get out. Usually watch a loss. And I say that in all jest because their general manager is a good friend of ours. He's a great guy. This team's in a rebuild. I go to probably 4 or 5 games a year because when I go and there's 10 games on TV that night, I got to get caught up on the other 9 to do my show on SiriusXM. So it really puts me behind the 8 ball when I watch games live. But it is nice to see that interaction and be able to see a lot of people that can help you and give you some insight into the business. I watched the game last night. It was probably their best game, that with Tampa Bay this year. They pushed the pace. And this is a team that's in transition. We know they won't compete for a playoff spot for at least 3 years, and we'll see where they're at. But they have a lot of young prospects that will be very good players. And we saw one last night in Logan Brown, a former first-round pick, 6'6", a ton of skill. You see Shabbat on the back end. He signed a long-term deal about a month and a half ago that will keep him in the capital for a lot of years to come. So the future is bright, but unfortunately the present will be a little dim.
You know, I just want to preview this game here on Saturday night again. And one thing is, you know yourself, the Lucic-Neal trade. I don't know if it's across the NHL people are talking about it, but they're sure talking about it here. And I've told the fans, you're going to see Milan Lucic. You judge for yourself Saturday night and what you think he's doing, because we all see what Neal's doing for the Oilers, even though they haven't scored a goal in 7 periods now. But what's your take on that trade?
Well, I think James Neal going, to Calgary last year, he signs the big deal as a free agent, and he was never put in the spot to succeed. He's a goal scorer. He's got to play with talented players, and he certainly can finish. He's proven everywhere that he's went that he can finish given the opportunity. Now, having said that, they had Lindholm that they brought in, and he did exactly what James Neal was supposed to do. So there wasn't that spot for them on the Calgary Flames. Thus, they make a deal because they get bounced in the first round of the playoffs, and maybe toughness is what they need. James Neal was never going to find success with the Calgary Flames. He's been put in that position in Edmonton to play with more talented players than a Ryan Nugent-Hopkins on the second line, to be on a power play with the likes of the Draisaitl's and Connor McDavid's, and he can finish. Statistically, this will never work out for the Calgary Flames. If they go beyond the first round and contend for a Stanley Cup, then Milan Lucic's presence will be judged by the distance that they go, and what he brings to the table physically. He's done everything that is expected of Milan Lucic. He's not going to score 20 goals ever for the Calgary Flames, but he can add a presence and he will be judged differently. Now, if they get bounced early, all bets are off. It'll be judged purely on statistics, and James Neal will win that every single time and twice on Sundays.
Matt, last week we had Stu Grimson on, and one of the questions that was asked of Stu was, was there ever a player in the NHL that you genuinely, literally couldn't stand? Forget about, the code and all that, a guy that you literally would have broken their neck if you had the chance. And he said no, but then he started thinking about it and goes, well, actually, there were times there was one guy, and he said, you were about the only one that got so deep in his kitchen that there was literally a hatred going on at times. He laughed about it, but what do you remember about your rivalry with Big Stu?
Oh, man, I hated him too, and I would have been disappointed I would have been disappointed that if he didn't mention me. If he mentioned someone else and hated them more than he hated me, then I certainly didn't do my job. My job was to piss everyone off and have them running around after me, trying to kill me every single game, and that's what I was paid to do. I was trying to get them off their game, and hopefully they take a stupid penalty, and our really skilled guys would capitalize. So getting to know Stu after the game is a much different Stu than I got to know during the game. First of all, he's lost about 50 pounds, and he is probably the most articulate man that I've ever met inside the game and maybe outside the game, if we want to even quantify that. But a tremendous human being, totally different than anyone would ever expect Stu Grimson, the Grim Reaper, to be. But yes, I'm glad I pissed him off. I'm glad he ran after me, and now I'm glad we're now on the same side outside the game.
Same here, Barney, and I do believe if people met you, they would probably be shocked at the way you are off the ice too. But safe travels out here, and we'll be rolling out the red carpet for you once you get here.
Awesome, buddy. Thanks for having me on, and we'll be on again soon. Keep up the awesome work.
You're watching Rod Pedersen On Demand. For more of The Rod Pedersen Show, visit rodpedersen.com or follow Rod Pedersen on social media.